What's this? What's this? This. What the is that? So yeah, it's the weirdest thing. But you know what? I'm used to doing weirdness on this. I don't know truly what this show is, and because this is the only one that I'm actually recording and uploading new sort of footage through a TikTok, I've got this thing, and this is not recorded anything, it's been mostly through my phone, which is weird, but that's besides the point. I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, I like this show because it basically shows, the one thing I like is, which isn't a spoiler, but the one thing which I love is one of the amazing things, and one reason why this might be less of a spoiler, because overall the spoiler section is basically you're learning about the world, and besides one thing which I like as a character thing, most of it's like just interesting generally as you sort of like do two things. One, slowly sort of like discovering, putting landmark, and like discovering like, okay, you do this, and then you do this. This is how the world works. And I love that sort of like, basically, it's sort of fantasy-like in a way. Joe, when like fantasy, like, oh, this can be used for this, and this can be used for this. It has that sort of like fantasy of like these creatures have these specific things, but it still treats death very real. It's like basically what happens if you have a sort of fantasy sci-fi like mixed with survivor like shows, where it's like your job is to survive. You don't win or lose, you survive. And I like that. I also love there's so conflict, there's so emotion, there's so like people argue against each other for like what they want and what they, because humans. But the overall, one of the things which I love the most is one of the things that they have, which is essentially the thing of, at a certain point, when they're trying to figure out this means this and this means that, etc., etc., etc. The one thing which I like is it's not through one angle. This person's going to talk about this thing, and this person's going to talk about this thing. And that I love. I love the idea that it's like, you have different storylines. You have like, I think like, what I can remember, there's, I think one isn't as big during it, but you have, if I last recall, 4? Because you have one with the guy who starts off in the shuttle, and he has his thing. You have the two people going to, no, 3, and one drops off, and I think 2 people come together. You have one which deals with one person who's doing this farming thing, and then I think you have another which is 2 people together, and you have these 3 perception points of view. I'm going to use that instead because that's easier, and they're looking and doing their own thing, and I love it. I love the idea. I love how like weirdly trippy it is, but that's the one thing that I absolutely love. Again, this is mostly going to be not spoiler, because besides one thing which I love for a specific reason, because I love that idea, I just love the different angles. I love that they're like, because I know some people, and I know I'm saying this, and I know a lot of people love Steven Universe. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, you like, a lot of people are like, and I love Steven Universe, but like, it's like, oh, Steven Focus, and that's fair. That's what that show wanted. It wanted that single focus, but I love shows. This is not a diss on Steven Universe. I just want to point that out as an idea. I can mention a bunch of other shows that do a single idea, but I do like some shows where like, we will have multiple perspectives. There's a point where, like Steven Universe, that does need a single focus because the mystery that it builds up. But I do love certain shows that can actually aspect. We're just going to have 3 different perspectives. That's the word. And we're going to have that. And I love that. That is so fun in general. Again, the reason why I mentioned that and then Steven Universe is because I have said I'm a Steven Universe fan, and I wanted to say, like, I still love if you do very single use, and I wanted to say, like, this is what normal shows you, and I mentioned Steven Universe because I don't know, weirdly enough, every time I think of single point of view, I think of Steven Universe. I don't know. The only quick one of the spoilers I want to say is the one thing I love is one of them is you have this sort of like robot, and I like the idea that they're slowly growing this thing in them. Their robot is growing like this plant creature, and slowly they sort of act more humanistic and act more like emotional and that, and I just love that. Mostly because I just like that trope. That's just a trope thing. It's the same reason why I'm watching Humans. I just like that as a trope. It's fun, it's creative. Sue me. I don't care. It's just a fun trope. That's really it. But yeah, I love this series. I find it very dark, but really fun. So I hope you enjoy, and good night.